Hey everybody, we're here with the 2017 Honda CR-V. It's all new this year, completely redesigned from the ground up. The question is it as good as it used to be? Is it a class leader? There's only one way to find out for sure. Let's check it out. So obviously the big change for 2017 is styling. The CR-V in the last generation was a little vanilla, but it still had a wide appeal. This time around they went way more aggressive, and I'm kind of on the fence. There's a lot of shapes going on here. I mean, you've got these dished out bevels here and then a flat hood, and it goes up in the other side. You have these crisscrossing chrome bits, and it's kind of all over the place on their own, but together they actually kind of work. Now, coming around the side, it's pretty well scooped out. It's got some contours. It's not trying too hard. The one bummer though, this door. It's really low down there. So if you're parked next to a high curb, you're probably gonna scrape. Not so good. So the CR-V starts right around $25,000 for the bottom trim. That comes at the 2.4 liter four cylinder. It makes 180 horsepower. Every other trim gets this, the 1.5 liter turbo. This gets 190 horsepower, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it actually gets much better fuel economy. It's rated at 30 miles per gallon combined, 34 on the highway, and out of one tank, we actually got 38.9. That's astounding out of a mini SUV like this. It's also our engine of choice because it actually has quite a bit of punch. There's one way to find out though, let's take it for a drive. So this CR-V has the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, and it's mated to a CVT, which stands for continuously variable transmission. And this is actually really responsive off the line. Once I'm at a stop and I hit the throttle, there's no hesitation. It just kind of punches right off the line if you give it enough pedal. Otherwise, if you give it a nice smooth input, it gives you a nice smooth response. As far as handling goes with the CR-V, Mazda kind of has the market cornered in this class right now with their level of athleticism and handling even for SUVs, but this one isn't bad. It instills confidence. I feel like if someone were to cut me off and I had to take evasive maneuvers, I would have all the confidence in the world that I'd be able to get through it with this car. Now, these all come with a standard rear view camera as well. The mirror's pretty wide, so I get a good view on both sides. Rear visibility, pretty decent, even with that small window. Lane departure warning, it's actually pretty decent. I don't feel it trying to pull me one way or the other, or sending up false positives. Frontal collision warning, a lot of times it's way too sensitive, especially here in LA where everybody's pretty much on everybody else's bumper, or else all of LA is just going to swoop into that open space. It has a tendency of throwing up these false positives, and after a while it can get really aggravating and lead to people turning those systems off. And at that point, what's the sense of actually having it if people aren't using it? Okay, so I've been knocking Honda's infotainment system, but one thing I can't knock it for is the inclusion of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I've said it before in a lot of other reviews, I'm almost totally reliant on it now. It's really good. It gives you that familiar interface that's on your phone pretty much. You got the pinch to zoom with the map, but the best thing for me is actually the voice to text. I get a lot of texts. I hate talking on the phone actually. I'd rather have a record because just in case I forget something, I can look back on it. So yeah, using the voice to text is excellent, really, truly. So one thing we knocked the previous generation CR-V for was some substandard interior materials. They were a little cheap, a little plasticky, but that seems to be solved completely with this redesign. The materials are really quite nice, and from a distance, they actually look borderline premium. You get a little closer and you realize, well, okay, some of it's a little simulated, some of it's not as impeccable as, let's say, a luxury car, but it certainly exceeds expectations for this class. Even this kind of simulated matte wood trim is pretty nice. Besides that, the seats are really comfortable. And with the EXL, you get leather, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, shift knob, and upholstery. there's enough support for me. I'm an average sized guy. Some of our staff have complained that maybe there's a lack of thigh support, but really truly that's one of those reasons why you want to spend more time in a test drive. One thing we also knocked the previous generation for was the touchscreen. Now there are still some issues here and there with this touchscreen, but our biggest complaint has been addressed. They put in a volume knob. What a novelty. But really truly, it's a huge improvement just because of that. The last version with the slider was terrible. There are some virtual buttons here and they're a little bit small, so using them while you're driving, you do kind of have to glance down and touch them like that. The response of the system is decent. It's a little bit of a pause, but ton of functionality here, and it's a fairly crisp display. One thing that Honda has always gotten high marks for with the CR-V though is its smart use of interior storage. Yes, you get this sliding armrest and it pivots up, and inside you have this sliding tray. It's also very handy, and it's rubberized so your phone won't slide around, and it removes just like that. And this bin here is really deep. Another plus, 2 USB ports. And you also have another power outlet right here in the bottom of the dash. Cup holders, they're pretty decent in size. And the door pockets, they're pretty deep, they're pretty long, so you can get at least 2 water bottles in there. One thing that Honda did years ago with the Odyssey was this cool convex conversation mirror. So you can keep tabs on your kids back there before they get out of hand. I will turn this car around, Jimmy. Knock it off. This is why I don't have kids, actually. So close it, tap it again, becomes a sunglass holder. Double duty. I always liked that. I always thought it was a smart feature. So good for you, Honda. So here in the back seat of the CR-V, there's a ton of room. I'm sitting behind where my seat was situated as the driver, and I've got a wealth of legroom here. On top of that, this seat here, well actually all the seats back here, recline just a few angles here or there, and that actually makes a pretty big difference on a long road trip. One thing I noticed is the materials quality back here, and I'm not knocking it, I'm saying it's actually smart. Hard plastic, or it's kind of soft, maybe leather up front. That makes perfect sense to me, especially if you have, little Jimmy back here with his juice box and some crayons. This is going to be way easier to clean off, way more durable. Right here in the center console, 2 USB ports, so everyone can keep their devices charged. Yeah, so otherwise, there's plenty of headroom for me as well. So obviously one of the most important things about a crossover SUV like this is cargo capacity. And the CR-V does well with a power adjustable liftgate, which is really cool if you have a short overhang. You're just gonna bring it down and hold the button down, and it's set there, so it won't go past that point anymore. And it's easy to readjust too. So the CR-V gets high marks just for the cargo capacity alone. It's almost 76 cubic feet. That's rivaling some of the mid-size SUVs. On top of that, there are even more smart features. So you have this load flat floor here, and that's always nice when you have big bulky items, but if you just have something back there, you get another 1.5 inches or so by dropping it down there. Honestly, I don't see that much usefulness for that. I'd rather have it flat the whole time. But one thing I really do love is these levers here not only will unlatch the rear seats, but they'll fold them all the way flat so you don't have to reach in further and push them down. You also have this cargo cover to keep everything secure and out of sight. This certainly handles everything that you'd expect from an SUV this size or larger. So those are our thoughts on the 2017 Honda CR-V. It is definitely at the top of the class, but honestly, I'm still partial to the Mazda CX-5. It doesn't have the cargo capacity, it doesn't have as many smart little cubbies and stuff as the CR-V, but man does it drive nice, and I love that infotainment system as well. For more information on the CR-V and all of its competitors in the compact SUV class, head over to Edmunds.com and check out our YouTube channel as well.